Hello, my name is Alexandra Villamizar. I am the Assistant Director of Curriculum Development and Training at LCMC.
Hello, I am Ahu Moser. I'm the Director of Academic Programming at LCMC.
Today, Ahu and I will be talking about goal setting. And the reason why we decided to talk about this topic, it is because adult students are motivated to learn when what is being taught to them, it relates directly to their life and actually is going to make an impact in their life. So selecting a goal or identifying a goal, it is crucial for our students, and as teachers, we need to help them in that process. Helping our students to identify their goals can be very challenging, considering for most of our students, the goal is to learn English, which is a very broad goal. So our job, it is to help them to identify more specific goals that by the end of the session, we are going to be able to, we can track through the session, and at the end of the session, students and us can see progress.
As Alexandra has stated, goal setting plays an important role in classroom instruction. LCMC's ESL classroom program is fully funded by Department of Labor and Licensing grants throughout the year. So this kind of brings the question in mind, are test scores enough to show the performance levels to our funder? So increase in test scores is never enough, although we appreciate our students' hard work in increasing the test scores, but we as teachers need to understand the importance of helping our students to reach their personal goals, academic goals, and financial goals.
Ahu, what you just mentioned made me realize how important it is for us as teachers to help our students to identify those goals. And as I mentioned before, it can be very challenging. So could you please explain to me, how can I help my student?
Definitely. LCMC has identified 3 pathways for students. These are very important pathways that we believe that we could help our students to achieve their goals. I think we should go to workbench and to work on those goals so everybody can see how everything works. Let me answer Alexandra's question about goal setting. So at LCMC, we have 3 main pathways. Number 1 is educational. Number 2 is economic. And number 3 is everyday living. So we ask these questions to our students during the registration and also on the first day of the class to get to know what their main pathways are. Let me focus on economic, and let me try to give you an example. So if we focus on the economic pathway now, right? I have a student, and when he comes to my class on the first day of the class, I ask him, what are your goals? And my student tells me he wants to get a job. So the student tells me, I want to get a job. When we look at this goal, it is a long-term goal, right? So this is not something that a student can easily achieve in one session. So LCMC sessions are always 60 hours long. So this is a very big goal. It is a very main goal. So how can we help our student to make this goal more achievable? Now we have squish goals. I'm sure most of you have heard about a squish goal. A squish goal, basically, it is a mini goal. We have one big goal for my student. He says he wants to get a job. It is a long-term goal. But what are the sub-goals that the student can have in order to reach that goal? So we are talking about the squish goals in here. They are the mini goals. When we talk about the squish goals for the academic, my student said, I want to get a job. We can easily come up with a lot of squish goals for this main goal. What are these squish goals? Maybe apply for a job, interview skills, write a resume. I can easily write tens and tens of goals, squish goals for my student in order to study on during this session. But as a teacher, in that duration of the class for 60 hours, what is the most important goal, the squish goal for my student to achieve? So we have to help our students to understand the most logical one or the most necessary one to reach the big goal. So these are the squish goals and this is the big goal. So in our next segment, Alexandra and I are going to talk about goal setting, and we will try to give you guys 5 tips to implement goal setting in the class.
Now that we have learned about our tracks, let's talk about 5 different best practices to use in the classroom to help our students to reach their goals. Number 1, build goal setting into initial classroom lessons.
You have these forms from your students about the goals. Please do not disregard these forms. These forms play an important tool for you to plan your lessons. These forms will help you identify your students' goals and help them to reach their goals. Number 2, help your students to be organized to achieve their goals.
Our students also learn by example, so if I am teaching my students how to be organized about their goals, I need to do the same. As an example, I can always write the agenda on the board before I start the class, and by doing this, I am not only making a better class, but I am showing my students how to break down a broader goal into smaller pieces. Number 3, create follow-up activities to check on the students' progress.
Something I would do as a teacher to help my students to reach their goals is to be able to sit down with them and to talk with them about the goals that they have chosen on the first day of the class. As Alexandra has mentioned earlier, goal as a word is a big word, and it is a big word. So how can I help my student to be able to achieve their goals? For example, my student comes and tells me, "Oh, Miss Moser, I want to find a job." It's a big goal and it might be a long-term goal. So how can I help my students to put it in small steps? So I can ask my student, do you have a resume or did you apply for a job? So these are the steps that I could help my student to understand the importance of small steps, and small steps lead to big goals. Number 4, follow up with your students at the end of the session.
On the last day of your session, please spend some time to talk to each of your students about the steps they agreed to achieve. If they did it, that's fantastic. Please talk to them about the next steps. But if they didn't achieve those goals, please ask them about why they think they didn't achieve them, and always be encouraging. We don't want our students to stop learning and give up. Number 5, report out on your students' achievements.
We would like to hear about your students' achievements, so it is very important that you report out what your students have achieved based on the steps that they have chosen at the beginning of the class and mid-session.
We have not only helped our students to identify their goals. Through the whole session, we have helped them learn enough English to achieve those goals, and by the end of the session, we have checked with them if they achieved them or if they didn't. So we have helped them through the whole process, and we are showing our students that we care about them achieving their goals.